Yo, yo, peace, everybody. It's your man, Soular Moray. You know what I'm saying? We outside today. You know, see that building right there? That's a federal prison. I used to be locked up on the top of that building. Yeah, 11th floor, 7th floor. And I used to look down here and look at this park and just wish and pray so bad that I could just ground and touch the earth. I've gone months and months and months without touching the earth, without being grounded at all. You know, I can literally feel the magnetic charge in my bunk, and I can literally feel the cells insulating themselves. But anyway, I'm grateful to be able to be nearby this location and to see this area and to be able to come and touch it and be where I used to wish I could be. And a lot of us go through that. A lot of us wish for something and want things, and at some point we actually get them, you know. And when we get them, it's not as significant as we thought, or sometimes it's exactly what you thought, but it's just another moment, and then there'll be another, and then there'll be another. There's places I'd love to go from here. You know, I'm grateful that I'm here right now, and I'm honoring myself and I'm honoring my past self by making sure I take the time to ground and connect to the earth here while I can, you know, and to tell myself that dreams and visions and wishes, they do come true, as simple as they may be. It's us who make them happen. I walked myself here. It didn't just pick me up and drop me here. There's business I had to handle nearby, but still, I remembered this space. And I chose to come here today to make this video. And there's a couple topics I wanted to tap into. The first one is dimensions and just simply explaining things. And before I get into that, let's just talk about gratitude and being grateful for what we have in our lives. Because even when I was in that building over there, I was still grateful for the time, for the space to work out, to dream, to think, to draw, to write, you know, to connect with people who have dark pasts and crazy stories. Grateful for all of those things. And in doing so, they added value to me. So even in a place like a federal prison, I'm able to find a way to add value to myself. And this ties into the main topic of the video, but this is gratitude. And this is the power of gratitude. It can turn anything into something beautiful. Another example is that I live here. I don't live there, I don't live there, I don't live there, I live here. I live here in San Diego. And it's a beautiful place to live. And I'm grateful to live here. And by being grateful for living here, it doesn't become a prison. It doesn't become a place that holds me back. It doesn't become a limitation of who I am and where I could be. I honor it and I accept it and appreciate everything that it has to offer. And you know, I see how lucky I am to have this as a hometown, to have this as a place where, you know, I walk every day, I live every day. It's a blessing. You know, a lot of the times I diminish my own blessings by wishing I could share them with people. I wish I had my son and my daughter right here with me and their mothers. You know, I wish I had this family dynamic surrounding me, teaching, loving, and growing and showing. You know, I wish for those things sometimes, but you know what? I'm also very grateful for what I have right now. And when I said I wanted to talk about dimensions, I've done this video on dimensions many times, but I want to explain it simply. continuously, and I always do. But let's take this me and this park, for example. One dimension of it, specifically the sixth dimension of this, would be to say, well, this is a human on the earth plane that is both spirit and physical. It's both spiritual and material, and is the middle ground between that, and this is a place where all of that happens. That is one dimension of it. Another dimension of it would be more third dimensional, right? Let's go to third dimension. These are cells. These are organisms. These are physical beings. We are physical beings. This is physical matter. This is cells as organisms working together to create a grander life force. But on a small level, the cells operate on their own timeline. The cells of the grass, the cells of my skin, the cells of my hair, all the particles in the air. That's the third dimension of it. You know, the sixth dimension of it would be me, perceiving it, thinking it as Soular, as Courtney, who I am here. Let's go to the ninth dimension of it. Spirit. A spiritual aspect of this. The essence of this tree, the life force flowing through this tree. The essence of who I am outside of the body, beyond space and time. The astral version of me, the energies that are channeling through, that are coming through the vessel itself. The third dimension being the vessel, the sixth dimension being awareness of the vessel, identity of the vessel, and the ninth dimension being the energy coming through it. Hey, baby. What's her name? His name?
Sierra.
Sierra. Hey, Sierra.
She likes videos.
Hey, Sierra. Obviously, she's photogenic. Oh, she's lovely. She made a nice cameo. How are you guys?
Great, how are you doing?
Really good.
Good, nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's a very deep meaning.
You want to share?
Sure. So it's actually a character from an anime that I got the tattoo before I even saw it or knew anything about it, right?
Cool.
And once I saw it, what it meant to me initially was something mathematic, because I'm a mathematician.
Awesome.
But then later, once I saw the show, I'm like, this is way better. I like this character. He's the most powerful being in the universe, right? But he's inside of a person.
Oh, interesting.
So this is a person inside of a person. But that guy can only be controlled and suppressed by the power of love.
Oh,
So
I
the
love
guy
that.
who owns the guy in the spirit, he's able to do it because he has an unconditionally loving heart.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he controls the most powerful force in the universe because he has unconditional love. And he can only use it for righteous reasons. So I'm like, I like that better. Let's go with that one. Forget the math. I'm going with that.
Hey, it's both.
Yeah.
The universe works in numbers.
Exactly. It's its original language.
So you channeled it.
Yeah, I did. I'm a channel. Exactly.
Me too.
You too? Really? In what way?
Light language.
Oh, wow.
Heard of it?
Of course.
Yeah. That's what I do.
How do you look at that? How do you see that?
A lot of it's words. How I speak it is connecting to multiple dimensions. So I could talk to trees, I could talk to the multiple dimensions, and whatever's kind of almost alive is what comes through, or whatever somebody's soul wants to hear. I can give you kind of Kuleavakasia, Monyavakasia, Kosolavakasia, Monyavakasia, Kosaya, Kuleavakasia, Monyavakasaya, Panyavakasia, Kasaya, Kasia, Kasi, Kasi, Kasi.
Interesting. Yeah, this video is about dimensions.
Is it?
Yeah, the way I view them and the way I explain them to people is a dimension is another way of looking at the same one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say third dimensional would be the cells of the grass and in our body. Sixth dimensional would be me. All those cells working together as me and identifying as me.
Awesome.
Let's say the ninth dimensional version would be the energy that's channeling through me. That's beyond space and time. That's not tangible. That's astral.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would say there's the 12th dimension, which is all of this as one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than individual parts, it's actually one thing altogether. So it's different dimensions of looking at, but I'm still the same me, still the same thing, same person, but there's different dimensions of looking at yourself. And energy cycles in not just 3, 6, and 9, but 12 actually. 3, 6, and 9 would be a triangle.
Yeah, and then the 12 is a 3.
And 12 is a circle,
Oh,
which is
interesting.
360 degrees. It's the first circle, it's the first full cipher, but it's also a square, which is 2 triangles.
I've heard the square and the circle.
So take one triangle and layer it over another triangle upside down, and you get
Yep.
that
What's
sign
up?
of masonry, you
Yeah.
get that
What's above and what's
star
below.
correspondence, you get that. But when you look at it all together, it cycles. So all of it as one is 13, which is the number of death, or actually ether, death, ether, same thing, which is just breaking an ego. Whereas those are 12 different versions of egos. But when you identify with all of them, you become what they call the Christ. So when you cannot just be stuck in one dimension or another, but actually consciously traverse them, that is called self-mastery.
Beautiful.
And astrology depicts these cycles, numbers, mathematics, sacred geometry, it's everywhere. Nature, everything shows the same cycle. And it increases in magnitudes when you add zeros to it, but it's the same 1, 2, and 3 in repetition.
Right.
It repeats 4 times, which creates your first cycle. And then the point of a cycle is it keeps going, it's in motion. So that's how I explain astrology and its importance. The names we use for the signs, they're
So powerful.
relative, the energies, they're relative, but what the number is and what it represents is definitive. That has existed before us, will exist after us. It's just our ability to identify what's going on actually is awareness and consciousness. A lack of awareness and a lack of consciousness is the inability to see things for what they are in all dimensions.
A lot of people, they kind of have their eyes closed to this, for reality. And so, I think on one end, one, I believe in dimension entirely because that's what I connect with.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a parallel. You've heard parallel?
Of course.
So, yeah, I figured. The
Well-
way you're talking, you probably have heard it before. So, yeah, I definitely really agree. I don't really resonate with the. I believe in numerology, but you give me math, I probably not my thing. But I do know that the universe works in numbers, and it's so much more magical than
Oh,
you
yeah.
even touch.
The first 1 through 6 is physical, whereas 6 through 12 is spiritual. So that's the part where we call it magic. That's what you can't see, it's not tangible, but it's obviously there. And a lot of people resonate with that more. But that's just one of the other triangles. The other one is the physical, and it's no different than the magic. It's the result of it.
It's your view of it.
Exactly. So the way I would view someone like you, I would call you what has always been known as a shaman. A shaman is someone, simply put, who can bring messages from other dimensions and bring them to the community in an interpreted form for them to understand.
Yeah.
And even if it's light language, there's dimensions of people who understand that within themselves, whether they're aware of that or not. So when you say things, like I've heard it so many times and I've heard so many forms of it, like I resonate with dragons very much.
Me too.
Very much.
Do you channel dragon?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I like to say royalty are those who view themselves as their own kingdom, and how you treat yourself is going to obviously reflect how you treat everything else. But I believe that everybody is way more powerful than they could possibly fathom, and obviously than what the society would give you. So you have to find it.
Yeah, I think once you find it within yourself, then you'll realize it's always there.
You know what's crazy? All day yesterday, I was like, what if I dyed my hair blue?
Confirmation.
I was like, what if I dyed my hair blue? And there we go. We got some beautiful blue hair
Yeah.
from someone who understands and gets it, which is
Yeah.
semi-rare.
Yeah. I mean, Or do you do stuff on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm a YouTuber. This is obviously just going to be great. This is going to replace whatever video I was doing. This conversation is good because I like to make a video every day, but I post maybe like once a week. And I've been doing YouTube for a long time. I do YouTube because I feel like everybody in the world can find you on YouTube better than other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And the content is going to be there for years. You know what I mean? So they may not get it today. You may not have all the views today, but another day, somebody might go back and find that video. You can change one person's life. And if that's all what one video does, I'm okay with that.
That's what impact.
That's it, yeah. And I teach a number of things, but I don't like to teach directly anymore. Even though I do run a school, and I'm going back into opening that up for the public.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's called the Astral School of Everything. So Ashe.
I love that.
Yeah. It came to me like, I don't know where. And the logo is a golden dragon. Yeah, the motto is sovereignty in all dimensions. Yeah, and I love that concept, but I think the best way for me to teach, like my name is Soular. So yeah, I teach.
Is that your creed or what you're born with?
It was given to me 3 different times in my life from completely different occasions. Yeah. One from a music producer, another one from like one of my experiences with ayahuasca, and another one was like a whole channeling with mushrooms as well.
Wow.
3 completely different timelines, same name. Crazy. So I go with that, but I believe that the best way for me to teach, based off of my chart and my North Node, is to just be an expression of the change I want to see. Not just to teach information and knowledge, but to embody it so that it's relevant to the people in my actual life. You know, I'm not the marketer. I don't go looking to attract clients or to attract people.
They bring it to you.
I just radiate light. And flowers, like sunflowers, what do they do every day? They get up and face the sun.
So you resonate with the sun.
Oh, yeah.
I got that. Inner sun.
Yeah, I got a Leo North Node.
Oh, awesome. Oh, I love Leo.
Yeah,
I'm
a
really
Gemini.
into the 8-8.
Really?
I love the Lionsgate.
I'm a Scorpio, 5th house North Node. So Scorpio's 8.
Wow.
And then the 5th house is
Synchronicity.
Leo. Yeah. So that's my North Node. So it's literally to express occult information through my artistry and just self-expression in general. So I produce music, engineer music, I write, record. I'm going to school for animation right now.
Wow.
So I can make cartoons for kids and stuff. You know,
What type of music?
very big on romance and stuff like that. All kinds. You'll hear me listening to everything, and I make everything. So I work with all people. There's no limit. I've traveled the country. I've traveled to multiple countries, and I've worked with artists from all over the world already. And just, this is the one thing that is consistent amongst humanity, is that the truth is there, it's available, it's just a choice. And when you embrace it, health comes to you in all dimensions. Longevity comes to you in all dimensions. But if you want to stay in your comfort zones, deterioration is inevitable. And even in the physical sense, like in the 1 to 3 dimensions, all physical things will change. But when you start identifying with a part of you that is not limited to time and space, you start realizing how valuable you really are, and how much you've grown, and that after this life, once this body changes into whatever it changes into, who you are as a soul remains. So don't worry about building things here. Don't worry about getting buff or getting strong or getting rich. Worry about changing your system of thinking and feeling and doing, because that is eternal. And you're going to find out this life is training you, this finite life is training you how to live the infinite one. You came from, this is my belief, is that you come from nothing, like zero. Mm-hmm. And you're going to live this life in a finite, definitive way. And then you're going to experience everything as a soul. You're going to live forever, but as who you are. And this is an opportunity to mold that, in my opinion.
It's not only just who you are, it's you have to deprogram other people's stories. Mm-hmm. Many people don't know their stories. So they're living off of other people's experiences and their other people's belief systems.
Correct.
So it's getting back into your soul deprogramming and realizing the illusions that you created by the belief of others.
And the word I use for that is authentic.
Being your authentic self.
That's how you retain sovereignty in all dimensions.
Yes.
You need to become authentic in each one. How does your biology work? Not how you want it to work, not how you think it works. How does it actually work?
Getting back to yourself.
Who are you truly? Not what name you've been given, not what name you chose, but who are you without a name?
Yes. Have you heard of Erin Lyons?
No.
She talks about the zero point neutrality. So if you know all your beliefs, all your stories, well, what if you took it all away?
Correct.
And you had nothing, and you'd be back at your soul. So you're basically taking away all the layers, all the things that you were taught. And if you took that all away, your identities, the things that are going on in your life, things that happened in your past, things that are going to happen in your future, you take that all away and you come back to spirit. Who would you react to? How would you react to certain situations if you were going to be just your spirit and not the belief systems, not the stories, not the patterns you've created? It's a completely different way of living when you live without the stories you've created, if that makes sense.
Well, you're going to find this interesting, I'm sure. 12 reduces to 3.
Yes.
12 is the full cycle. 3 is the 3 modalities in which all things exist. Solid, liquid, and gas.
Yes.
And then plasma is that hidden fourth, which is ether.
Yep.
So you have 12, which reduces to 3. But then you have 3, which reduces actually to 1.0, which is 0 point energy.
In the very beginning.
Correct. Now, when you have a 1, there's a 0 on both sides. It's just invisible as 0 operates. But there's a point there too. But there's only 1 point. It's not on both sides.
Yeah.
There's a point in one area.
Yeah.
So it's 0.1 always. That's 0 point energy. But those are 3 components. There's 0, which is the non-tangible, which is all things, source in one form. But then there's 1, which is tangible, source in all forms. So there's source in no forms and there's source in all forms. But people forget the 3rd component, which is the point. And that's you. You are the point.
Love it.
I am the point.
Yeah.
Our point of view, perspective. And as that point shifts, you have the same reality. You have the same zeros and ones. 1 changes into 9 different forms. 0 is always going to be 0, and it's always going to be there. You're just never going to see it, because that's its energy. But that point changes and shifts, and that's what you do, and that's who you are. You are the point. So 0 point energy isn't focusing on 0, which is all things in no form, or 1, which is all things in all forms, which is 1 through 9, but the point, which is both. It's both.
Right.
It's positive and negative, aka neutral. Positive and negative. It's both.
Yeah.
And could God be anything but both? Could it just be one or the other? It has to be all of them.
Yeah.
Source has to not just be the absence of physicality. It can't be just the presence of physicality. It has to be both. So it's the point. That's how you know you are the source already. That's how you know you are connected to all things already. You just have to learn how to shift your point of view. And when you can do that, it's called self-mastery.
Right.
You can choose to be happy rather than it being an effect. You can choose to be a cause rather than the effect. They're both going to happen. There's going to be a cause and effect always. But you can choose if you're going to live a life of an effect, just being affected by everything, that's semi-similar to chaos, or you can choose to be the cause, whereas there's intention and everything becomes sacred. Nothing becomes good or bad anymore. It becomes purposeful and meaningful. And that is a rich life.
You know, I think a lot of people get stuck in how they're speaking, in the positive and negative, and when we switch to only speaking positive, you'll start noticing more positive situations, people, opportunities, they'll come to you. And when you focus on the negative, you're going to see evidence of the negative, because that'll make you feel good that is proof.
Yeah.
See, this is why it's bad. See, this is why it's bad. But when you switch and only talk positive, look at all the opportunities, all the blessings, all the magic that can come into your life. Because that's what you're focusing on. You're focusing on the magic, the positivity, the amazing things that are going on in your life. So it's less focused on the negative and more focused on the positive.
No, I agree with that. I think that you have positive, and you have negative, right? And I think that you have the middle ground, which is neutral, which is what's real.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, it's 2 blocks.
Okay, straight?
Straight. This street
Okay.
here? One. No. 2
Okay.
blocks. I'm gonna go in.
Okay.
You're gonna keep an eye on her?
I'll keep an eye on it.
Don't be wandering off.
You're gonna be good.
Should be good.
You have positive, you have negative, but I think that what we view as positive, I think what we mean to say is neutral. And I think that positive is really focusing on like the thoughts, whereas negative is really focusing on the situation or the matter
Yeah.
or the physical aspect of things. Where I think as when we say positive as spiritual people, I feel like what we mean to say is neutral and what's real, because the honest truth is that you're going to make this what you want it to be. And the honest truth is you're going to experience whatever you choose. It doesn't make it good or bad. That's completely relative. Positive and negative don't mean good or bad. And that's something.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
That's something that I was taught young, and I grew up learning and thinking, but found out it's not essentially true. Because I feel bad right now doesn't mean, it's the same thing as negative. Negative actually means electrons. It means it's a feeling. Whereas positive is proton, which is a thought. It's conscious. So when I started realizing this, I was like, okay, good and bad are completely relative. What's good to you could be bad for me. What's bad for me can be good to you. So if we look at what things are, there's no argument there. If you look at the truth and what's neutral, there's no argument there. And what higher frequency is there other than the truth? So positive can't transcend the truth. Negative can't transcend the truth. But both of them together create that neutral truth. So I think that I know what you're saying and I get what you're saying. I just think that the way we've been conditioned to speak in English has got us saying positive as
Frequency.
beneficial. Yeah, and I think that higher frequency, yeah. So maybe thinking higher, maybe instead of saying positive, we could say, if you think in a higher frequency,
Yeah.
because higher frequencies encompass lower ones, then we can say we're having a more holistic view. Whereas when we're saying to think negatively doesn't mean to think bad, but it can mean to think on a lower frequency, which is limited and cannot encompass all of the spectrum of what life has to offer. So low frequencies are slow and out of tune, whereas high frequencies are super fast to where they are completely in alignment. It's alignment, it becomes alignment.
Right.
It vibrates so fast it becomes alignment. So high frequency is different than low frequency facts. But good and bad are relative. They don't really exist.
I believe that. If we view negative as a bad thing instead of, I view things like things that are happening in my life that are challenging, I see it as a learning opportunity. Now it could be for me or for somebody else, but what is it I need to learn from something that comes up? So then there's the positive.
So you're choosing to add value to yourself.
You're choosing
by,
to add
by
value.
looking for a lesson.
You're choosing to add, instead of saying, man, my life is going through this and I don't know what to do, and you're kind of going defeated and victim mindset. But when you're like, okay, so this is happening, okay, I see it. What am I supposed to learn from it? I know I feel not so good, but why? And you break down, why are you feeling this way towards a situation that is happening? If a situation's happening to you and you kind of stand back and you're like, okay, so I have this situation, what can I learn from the situation that's happening? And you take away the victim and you go in more of a a different way of viewing things. And so you're able to kind of, this is just, of course, how I experience it, of course.
I think you're right.
You know, the comeback is so quick compared to staying in a cycle that will repeat until you've learned the lesson.
So would you say that being a victim is choosing to be in a low frequency? And that being...
It is, because you're blaming somebody else instead of taking accountability for your part in it. So you created this scenario, whether you believe it or not. You might have said something, and because you said something or you thought something, you didn't even, it just was, you didn't think anything of it, but the universe heard it. I was like, okay, well, you want to experience this so that when you talk to somebody, you have this story to share. Or this
the
belief
universe
you need
is
to.
neutral.
Yeah. So
it doesn't care if it's your version of good or bad. If you ask for it, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking these thoughts. Okay, well, I'll give you them. Oh, so now you want to change those thoughts. Well, I'll give you the change.
Yes.
And if you hold on to those thoughts, then I'll give you those things.
Nope. Wrong way.
Sierra, come over here, baby.
Come on. Come. Come.
She clearly got her own little energy. Come on, Sierra.
Come. She's like, I hear you. I'm not going to listen to you.
So I'm close enough.
So, yeah, I think it's definitely a powerful topic. But I think what's really important, people understand their story. I don't think so. And once they understand their story, why they live that and break it down, break down the belief systems, break down the limitations, maybe to a certain age. And a lot of times they happen at childhood. So if it comes down to childhood, what did you create as a child that has been in a cycle over and over, maybe in different ways, that you can break free of? You know?
I think that we're all, the concept of the child, right? We're all still children.
Oh yeah.
You know, that concept of a child is mixed in with you're good. And this is a great conversation. We're gonna post this whole thing, and I hope the audio's okay. The audio should be good, but I feel like if this is what the universe wanted to come through, then this is what's gonna come through. I made plenty of space on the phone for us to have this conversation, so, you know, let me know what you guys think about the conversation in the comments if you want. But you made a big point, and you just sparked a thought in me, is that, because I'm a channel, so I never say the same thing. I say the same thing a lot because the truth is consistent, but I never plan anything. Being a child is related to our age, right?
In society.
But the reality is, if you take away age, you're never a child and you're never an adult.
And you're
Like,
never attached.
Some people say you're an adult when you're 15. Some people say you're an adult when you're 18. Some people say you're an adult when you're 21. Are any of those true?
You know what I find fascinating? Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. I think the point's there.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, she wants to be a content creator about healing. She's a very powerful channeler. And she says, I don't know how how people are going to take it, because I act so young and like childlike, and I see her, and every time she just shines, just so bright, and you could see the inner child. And that's what more people need to embrace, is the inner child, the creativity, the soul. I think we put number and say, man, I'm this old. Man, I'm old.
Stop acting conditioning.
Yeah.
Stop acting like a child. Grow up.
Right. And I've heard that. I've heard that. But
you still think like that? Oh, come on, get real. Grow up.
It was in the past. Well, it's all relative. And I think that age is just a number. It's your opinion on how you view your age. If I look at my age and how I act, and I can say, well, I'm young, I don't know what you're talking about. And other people will look at me and they're like, wow, you're kind of old.
Some people say they're infinite. Some people say they're immortal. Some people say all those things.
Right.
I think that I'm present. I think that I'm now. And, you know, I can say an age and I'm not binded by the spells of numbers and words. I'm not binded by that. I understand them enough to not be ruled by it. But at the same time, I understand what people say when they don't want, what they mean when they don't want to use a number. Mm-hmm. And they want to say, no, I don't have an age. That's a bad spell. It's a curse. No, I get that. But I'm thinking of it in the sense of I'm now. I'm now.
Yeah.
That's going to change. And if I identify with that change, I'm good. Fun fact. In astrology, Leo is the sun. And the sun in Leo is the 5th house. 5th house, Leo, and sun energy all rule authenticity, or the truest self. They also rule children, and they also rule self-expression. So if you put all that together, you get the child, the eternal child, you get self-expression, and you get authenticity. Why are they all in the same realm? Because they're the same thing. When we say being a child and identifying with our child self, we're saying being authentic, preconditioned. And when the Bible says, you know, those who are like a child, those who are like the child, those are the ones who are going to enter the kingdom of heaven. Because the kingdom of heaven is nothing more than the awareness of all dimensions. A child is already aware of everything for what it is. It's the conditioning that starts to limit you to being and perceiving from specific dimensions rather than all of them. So you come in perfect. You came in just fine as a child, as a baby. You're equipped as a multidimensional being to perceive all dimensions already. It's the conditioning. It's the growing up. It's the society that gets you to be all like, okay, I need to be more practical. So you get caught in the 2nd dimension. Okay, well, my job wants me to be more analytical. So you get caught in the 6th or the 8th dimension. Or you become a pastor. And so you get caught in the 12th dimension only. Rather than being all of them all the time. A child is going to do that. They can't help it. They're going to cry. They're going to smile. They're going to laugh. They're going to complain. And they don't look at themselves as negative or bad for complaining. They're being honest. They're being authentic. I don't like this. They're not saying you don't have to like it. They're saying I don't like it. I'm hungry right now. They're not saying I'm trying to ruin everybody's day. That's a conditioned thought. Yep. They're saying I'm hungry, bruh. I need to eat right now. Like, come on. Is there any food nearby? I don't care about none of this right now because I'm hungry right now. That's honest and that's authentic. It's rather than an adult who's like, well, let me not ruin the vibe. I got to do this. I got to do that. I'm so hungry. I'll just eat when I get home. And they're crying on the inside. And it's affecting everything they're doing.
You can't cry on the outside because then people are going to think I'm weak.
Exactly. And that's conditioning.
Opposite.
It's the opposite. It's the ones who are vulnerable and authentic who are powerful. It's those who hide their authenticity and who cannot be vulnerable that is the weakness. And I think that, you know, when we go back to what you were saying with your friend, I think it's very powerful to have that imaginative, creative side active in you still, and to be able to express yourself in an authentic way, regardless of society's age or determination on you. And you know what? If you change the dimension to a 12th dimension again, and you change age, let me get this little bug out your hair. You change age to, you ever heard of the age of Aquarius?
Yes, we're in it, right?
That would be a 12th dimensional view of us as a whole. So what's your age? I'm in the age of Aquarius. We're in the Aquarian age presently. All of us.
Enlightenment age.
Yeah. So the kids right now are the same age as the adults right now in that perspective. Consciously.
They are brilliant. I mean, the children that are coming in are magical.
We're supposed to learn from the newer souls. The older souls are supposed to be changing, learning, and growing, and evolving, and adapting as things consistently change and evolve and cycle. It's the newer souls, the newer ones, who are already in alignment with the present time, with the present energy. So a baby or a 5-year-old is going to be more present with the current times than a 30-year-old or a 50-year-old.
They understand it.
Because a 30-year-old's already a whole Saturn cycle out. 50-year-old, 60-year-old's already 2 Saturn cycles out. Whereas anyone 1 through 30 is within a certain paradigm of how everything is operating still. And they're of those energies. So they're going to not be, we look at them as weak, or we look at them as, no, they're just different. And if we can look at them as teachers, you can learn more about the current times and not outdate yourself, because you're going to realize that things are not getting smarter, not getting dumber, they're just changing.
Yeah.
Now, what they're changing into, you can see through astrology. You can see through cosmic cycles. Those are the grand cycles. Like the sun does what it does, the same thing every day, doesn't it? But it has small shifts.
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I think some areas they might have more of a sacred energy. Like I saw a video and there was a sunbeam that went straight down, and I had never seen that before. And then of course the halos. I think the sun's energy has shifted. You know, about 20 years ago, you never would have seen a what was it, dog halo or whatever that ring around, the rainbow ring.
I gotta show you some pictures sometime. My birthday's June 2nd, right?
Awesome.
I had a birthday in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, in Cancun, and this is when I had a massive awakening. And I go outside for my birthday. I'm like, I guess I'm spending another birthday alone, but at least I'm happy, I'm free, I live by the beach, I'm good. I go outside, and the sun is directly above me, and it has this massive golden rainbow around it.
Wow.
Visible on the camera and off the camera. And I took pictures with it. I have so many videos, so many pictures with it. I'm like, I've never seen this in my entire life.
Have you heard the rainbow?
And it's a clear sky. There's no clouds. There's no water.
Yeah, and typically they'd be like, well, because there's a cloud or something. No.
There is no water.
The energy is so pure and beautiful. Magic happens.
This was on my birthday. And
That's
this was
a birthday present.
This was a couple days after an ayahuasca awakening as well, during the Scorpio full moon. So I was like, this is not a coincidence. And I haven't seen it like that often. Or I've seen it maybe once after that. Since then, I've never really seen that. Like, see how it's a clear sky right now? Imagine just a big golden rainbow around it right now. That's what it was, in the clear sky, just like this right now. And I think that you're right. And this is where I go into conspiracy. I believe that I believe there's 3 suns. There's the black sun, there's the white sun, and then there's the red sun.
What's the black and the white?
So the black sun is what I believe is at the core of this entire system, like the zero.
Okay.
The red sun is the one that we observe, and it's basically like how could I put it? The red sun is that thing, or whatever we think that, if it's still that, because we don't know it. So much has changed with the moon and the sun and science in the world that I don't even know if that's the same.
I've heard that conspiracy.
I'm not going to go into that one, but the red sun's supposed to be the one that we can see physically, the one that's there, or us. We can look at us as that red sun as well. And then there's the white sun, which is completely metaphysical. It's not, you can't see it or any of that. It's perceivable, but it's the consciousness itself. And it's there, but it's not there at the same time. So it's the black sun, which would be pulling things in almost like a black hole.
Okay.
You have a white sun, which is the polarity of that. They say the black sun is at the center of this whole Earth system.
In the Earth?
They say it's the inner Earth sun.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they say it radiates the northern lights. That's where it comes from.
I believe we also have the inner sun. I don't know if you tapped into that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I believe that's where the white sun really is.
If
that
a lot
halo.
of people, their sun is so small because they were taught to be small. And then the more you work with it, the more you actually kind of almost shine, like it just radiates out of you.
The ideology of astrology is that we're all our own solar system.
Yes, I think I've heard that.
That's why you have a sun, a moon, a Saturn placement, all that. No one has any of the energies the same as you. They never have, and they never will again.
I completely agree with that.
Infinitely unique. Same thing as me.
You know, I kind of have also, though, I have experienced, though, people whose stories are so similar. Like, the channelings are, I'm like, I channeled that. Like, what you're saying, I've channeled that.
So let's say I have a
split.
Well, let's say I have a vertex in Scorpio 5th house. I have a North Node in Scorpio 5th house. I have a Sun in Gemini in the 12th house, right? And let's say I meet somebody who has a completely different everything, but their North Node is also Scorpio, maybe in a different house. And I meet another person, their North Node's in the 5th house. And I'm living my life, I'm in my purpose, I'm doing my thing, and I just keep seeing these guys. I just keep seeing them everywhere I go. Yeah. It doesn't matter years, I never even talk to them. But we go to somehow they're at the same events. Yeah. It's the same girl all the time. Every time I go to the park, that person's there. Or it's a person who's saying the same things or looks the same way constantly, over and over again. So there's an interesting chemistry that happens when everybody is a solar system within a bigger, grander solar system. So it's systems within systems within systems. Just like each one of your cells has organs known as organelles. And they are pretty much the same as the organs that you have in your entire body. And each of those organs are made out of millions of cells. So each human here is about 50 trillion cells. And each one of those cells have their own organ systems. So it's a system comprising together trillions of them to make a bigger system, which you identify as just one person. But you're 50 trillion systems working together as one system. And then you have trillions of organisms, about 50 trillion organisms that live on Earth at any given time. And they contribute to, how do you think the Earth identifies? As a one thing. But all of us are pieces of that one thing.
Are you talking about the planet Earth?
You could say Terra, you could say Earth, you could say Gaia, you could say the plane of existence, which is just a frequency, a wavelength, and all, and nothingness. You can view it in any way. But at any rate, me and you are here, made of 50 trillion cells apiece. But if we looked at ourselves as just ones, units of ones, there's trillions of organisms, from dogs to bugs to cats to people to all of that, to trees to fish that create the Earth. And the Earth is one organism in itself too. All of nature, example, to prove that, these roots are connected to the same roots on the other side of the planet. These roots are connected to seaweed.
I heard that England and California are connected.
Well, yeah, all things are.
Yeah, so... Hi, buddy. Hello.
Oh, golden retrievers.
Gotta start, okay. Down. No. No, look at me. Down.
You look like a puppy.
Look. Down. No.
She over there like, I know better.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
it's okay.
Cool. She's fine.
Like a big old baby. Yeah, everything's a part of the same system. Like what here is not feeding off the same one sun? What here is breathing a different type of air? There's nothing that's separated. Most of our air, 80% of the oxygen, comes from the ocean. Anyway, all of the roots that connect to the Earth, well, the Earth and connects to a mycelium structure. And the mycelium structure, which we see through mushrooms often, shows that all consciousness can be instantly transmuted from this tree to that tree to a tree in Beijing. They're all connected. All of it. So it's one thing, like one big brain, just like your brain is connected to all of the nerves going through all of your body, which is the nervous system. So something happens here, you felt the pain because the signals transferred. And here's a fun fact. Did you know that cells can instantly send signals from any part of the body to any other part of the body instantly? Hey, come on. There you go. Let's go. So that means if you think something and you get a neuron to think something, it can send that signal instantaneously to any part of the body. Any of those other 50 trillion cells. Pain? What pain? This is pleasure. I'm feeling pleasure and bliss. All of a sudden my fingers are tingling. My feet are tingling. Because I believe it, truly believe it, I have sent that signal through my nervous system into all the other cells in my body instantly. So the earth works the same way. If you send messages into the earth, or you receive messages from the sun, everybody already has that message in them. It's just getting translated through a different conduit. So if my feet cells translate it, it's going to show up in a different way. If my neurons translate it, it'll show up in a different way. If my liver translates it, it's going to behave in a different way. But it's all in alignment with the same frequency. The frequency is the same, but the behavior through the conduit will change. So how you perceive the same truth might come through you in a unique way.
Yes.
That same truth and that same light can come through me, but it might come through a different language or a different word, or maybe an action, or maybe a dance, maybe a song. Maybe that same truth can come through the puppy, and that can come through checking on you, sniffing you, rubbing on you or something. But it's the same frequency that none of us are disconnected from. It's the idea that you're your own person, or you're separate from the reality that separates you itself. When you become aware that you're all one with all of it in a grander scale, you can realize how you're one with yourself in a microcosmic scale too. And you start caring for each and every one of your cells as the earth could care for each person on it, as God or Source can care for every little thing in the universe. You start thinking in that big way, you start being able to think in the most finite way too. So there's no separation, you'll realize. There's no difference between big or small, macro or micro. It's one system.
The micro is the macro.
It's the same thing. It's not like it. They're not mirroring it. They're not following each other.
Yep.
They're the same.
It's always interesting to me when people don't realize how much power they have when they themselves make such a great impact in the world. Just one person. One person makes a shift and it changes the whole frequency.
Instantly. And there's two ways to look at that, is that I did this and it changed everything, or I am a conduit for the change that was inevitable.
I like that. It's true. It's
It's
following your
happen.
destiny.
It happened, right? So it was supposed to.
I believe that. That's my belief.
It happened through me though. So I identify that, I did this part as a part of the whole. It came through me. I had to do it. If I can only be me. Sorry, I had to wear my hair blue today. I didn't know who was gonna inspire, but something told me to do it, and I did it, and voila.
Yeah.
Honored to be of service. I'm just being me though.
Yeah.
Same thing. I don't know why I came to this park. I usually go to the beach or I go to the water, but I always wanted to come to this park, and I just never did. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna come to this park today.
That corner has hummingbirds.
Really?
That tree in the corner has a mama bird over there as
All
well.
these honeybees. Have you noticed the honeybees too?
I did.
Major signs of abundance. Major signs of. So bees are attracted to high frequencies. They create honey. Did you know honey?
Love honey. Real honey
cannot contain any disease.
I heard that.
No disease or bacteria can exist in honey. The reason why is because the frequency at which honey is created. They vibrate at a frequency that when they spit the honey out, the pollen out, it's at a certain frequency that cannot hold disease. There's no disease in honey. It doesn't even age. It can't even go bad.
Yeah. I actually, I didn't, the ones in the cans, whatever, that has extra sugar in it. I
Yeah.
actually don't like that. But I had a friend of mine, he was almost like a beekeeper, and he had these jars, and I was like, I'm just going to try it.
Beekeepers live longer.
Real honey? I ain't going back.
Yeah.
That stuff is good. I could eat by a spoonful.
You ever ate the honeycomb with the little wax in it and the crunchiness?
You know what? I think I have had a little bit of it because he put it inside the honey.
Uh-huh.
But
It's sometimes hard to separate.
For me, I actually prefer the natural honey. If there's any pieces,
Yeah, it's very crazy. And there's another highlight to sacred geometry yet again.
let's take it.
The hexagon. 2 triangles. The hexagon. It's just, you can't get away from it.
I love the 64 tetrahedra, the star tetrahedra.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. There's, I don't know if you know what that one
Yeah,
is.
all potential platonic solids can fit into that one image.
Love
That
it.
one
Oh, same with the
tetrahedron, I believe.
Metatron cube as well.
Metatron's cube. And then my favorite, the thing about Metatron's cube, I believe, is 2 pyramids interlaced.
There's, I think, also a third. Hold on a second. I think there's also a third one in the center,
I think
and then it has the circles or whatever on the outside as well.
Yeah, so the way sacred geometry works is there's 3 components,
Mhm.
as there are to everything. There's the vertices, which are the points.
Mm-hmm.
There's the lines, which are they're the how could you say, how would I determine the lines? There's the planes, in a sense. They create the faces and the surfaces. So you have the vertices, the faces and the surfaces, and then you have the volume, the space inside, or the area inside of it. So you have the lines, you have the points, and then you have the space in between. The space in between is always the 3s. Volume's always the 3s. The area of it is always the 3s. The lines are always 1s.
Interesting.
They're always like 1s. So this is how it works. You have, these numbers are always the same. So you have 1, 4, 7, 10.
Oh, interesting.
Then you have 2, 5, 8, and 11.
Interesting.
Then you have 3, 6, 9, and 12.
Yes.
Now, how do you know this is true? The 1s are the lines,
Mm-hmm.
right? The 2, 5, 8s, those are the points. What is this?
Well, it depends. Upside down V, or it's a 2.
Or is it both?
Triangle. Or a triangle, upside down, without a bottom.
Well, so if it's not then it's not a triangle then.
Upside down triangle.
Almost, if it had this.
Well, you can
This
imagine
would
that.
be, because then it'd be 1, 2, 3 angles. But with this, it's only 1 angle.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 1 vertex. That's why this is the point. 2, 5, 8, and 11 are always going to be the point.
I feel the energy in between the V's, and that's why I say it could be a triangle, because I could feel the energy.
It creates one. It's necessary.
I understand where you're going with that, though.
It's 2.
2, yes.
After 3 is a triangle, which is this.
Got it.
1 is just this.
Right.
2 is this. 3 is this.
Got it.
So 1 is just the lines. They're just the lines.
Got it.
1, 4, 7, and 10. They all carry the same energy. 2, 5, 8, and 11, it's not about the lines anymore. It's about the point
Oh, interesting.
that's created when the 2 lines come together.
That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And you said this one is
3, 6, 9, and 12 are always going to be the space inside.
Interesting.
So this is the cool thing about 2, 5, 8, and 11. This is the point. You're always the point. So 2 by 3 is 6. This is the 6th dimension, which is in between 12, half of 12, semicircle. But there's a whole other